Hello, everybody, and welcome to CONSERVATISH episode 185. My name is Peter Feliciano. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening. Make sure you share. Make sure you leave a review. If you do not share this with other people, I will find you and I will slap you in the face. Okay, that's it's within my legal bounds. And you can find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano or at CONSERVATISH. I've got new music coming out. Last 3 weeks, I put out instrumentals. This upcoming Friday, the 14th, I'm going to be putting out a cover song. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. And that'll be on my YouTube. So everybody, you got all the normal commercial stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege that we have on Craig Long. Yay!
What's up? What's up?
Thank you so much for doing this, Craig. Where can people find you first and foremost?
I'm pretty much everywhere. I was banned on YouTube. I'm going to probably have to make a fake account. But you can find me on Instagram, Real Craig Long 45, TikTok, Craig Long 45, Facebook, Craig Long 45, Clapper, Craig Long 45. Gab, Craig Long 45. All the other, anywhere else is going to be Craig Long 45. I'm all over the place.
Fantastic. Now, was the 45 because of Trump?
45 is the President Trump is when I pretty much start speaking out.
Right.
That was my debut.
Right. Were you a conservative before Trump or no?
So good question. I was brought up conservative in principles and values. My father was in the military. So we were a military family up until they got divorced. Him and my mother got divorced. So he was in the military, he was in the Army, but he also was a military police. So he was an MP. So I used to get the police talks and, I'm the child that veered away and then came back, the Protestant child.
Right. So let's dig into that a little bit. I know just to break the fourth wall with everybody. We actually had we were recording last night, but we had some snafus. So you had
apparently my microphone sucked ass, and Peter was like, "Dude, this microphone sucks."
I was trying to be congenial.
I was like, "Really? What the fuck?"
I was trying to put it on me. I was even going to say it was my fault. That's how kind I am. Can't you people understand?
No, man, tell it how it is. It means I got this new computer. The new computer I got. The microphone sucks. So,
all right,
at least I know now, so I can adjust and get better. So.
All right, I'll tell it like it is. Craig ruined everything, but now
we're the whole live up. We had great the great chemistry going, and he's like, "Dude, I can't do this shit no more. Your microphone sucks ass." And I was like, "Fuck."
Now, I want to go on like 1,000 different tangents with you because you're a good talker, and I'm a good talker. But first things first, you went through a bit of your history yesterday. You grew up in a military family. You grew up in a military police family. But then what happened? You went off. You said you left mentally.
So, just to give you a quick background, because most people, when they hear my story, they're gonna be like, "Well, how the hell that happened?" You come from a military family. If anybody is ex-military or still in the military, and they know the transition when someone that is in the service transitions into being a civilian, it's brutal. At least it was on my father. So his transition, my father served in Desert Storm. He served under Colin Powell. So he was a high rank, he was a drill sergeant at that for air assault, high rank officer. And he got injured, man. He got an honorable discharge. He got injured. He had to transition from the military life to a civilian life. He couldn't get a job. So we had this nice home in a pretty decent middle-class area. But we were poor as hell. I remember talks of bankruptcy. We almost lost the home. We were one of those people that we lived above the means. And he was working at Hex. So the income wasn't there. And then long story short, him and my mother split. And that's when things kind of went downhill. My mother was raising me, my other two siblings, my brother and sister, 3 kids by herself. My father opted to be an every other weekend dad, and he was away. He moved away somewhere in a different part of the state. and my mother was left to raising us. And I mean, I gravitated to the streets, and through being in the streets, I did everything, man. I was full-fledged, 100 miles an hour, selling drugs, fighting, stabbing, shooting, you name it. I did everything that you probably see on the movies, man. Inevitably, my choices, my influences, the crowd that I was hanging with, my choices led me into doing prison time. I shot 2 people point blank range, which look, I've been in trouble since the age of 15, man. You know what I mean? I've done the juvenile, went to jail, straight to prison, didn't come home till I was 25, right? I shot 2 people point blank range, was released in 2009. Here we are now, 2021. I own brick and mortar businesses. I have online businesses. Obviously, I'm an outspoken conservative in the movement. I'm an activist in the movement for conservatism. And I've received all civil rights back. I've received my Second Amendment rights back, which is I have a make guns unknown again, make firearms unknown again. So I'm like a complete 360, right? Now I left out gaps of the story just to kind of condense it, but in a nutshell, that's Craig Long, 45.
Right. Now let's make one motherfucking thing clear.
Yeah, tell me.
Everybody has, I think the main problem of the white liberal is that they don't know enough black people. Anybody?
I can't stand the white liberal.
You're on the right show. The main problem of the white liberal, or maybe liberals in general, but especially let's say the white liberal, because white people are 60-ish% of the country. So obviously they're probably 60-ish% of liberals, if not probably more. The problem with the white liberal is that they don't know enough, as far as just in the Black Lives Matter. I support Black Lives Matter. They don't know enough black people, because if they knew enough black people, they would understand how complicated they are, how they're just regular fucking humans, how sometimes they're very successful, sometimes they're very rich, sometimes they're very poor, sometimes they don't experience racism, sometimes they experience lots of racism, sometimes the complicated life of a human being, that illuminates lots of different things. It's the same thing of why would you shoot what is her name, Kalia Bryant or whatever the fuck, for trying to stab that girl? It's like, are you out of your mind? If I tried to stab you right now, wouldn't you want some cop around you to be like, stop?
Bro, they were making excuses. They were making excuses saying, oh, we've been getting in knife fights for eons. I'm like, the fuck is this lady talking about?
Right.
These are black liberals.
Right.
White liberals is one thing. Black liberals is another. The black KKK collective groupthink are full of shit. It's a collective lie. We have not been getting in no knife fights for eon. What the hell is these people? They'll make excuses just to keep the lie going.
Yeah.
So you're right. You got your black handlers, like Chelsea Handler. She thinks she's a black handler. Well, like for an example, when she came out, I had to remind 50 Cent that he was black. Right. These are the white liberals that we're dealing with. These are the people. What's the other lady? Jane, the conservative guy, just destroyed her the other night on a live. I forgot her name, but she was one of the real predominant ones that's always, one of those white liberals that tries to tell black folks what their experience is and what they're going through. And it's so racist in this country. And you know what I mean? So it's the white liberal definitely is a problem. A lot of the leaders that we've had previously have pointed out and highlighted, and they keep telling us, hey, these are the people you need to watch out for. But now we have another beast, the white liberal and the black KKK collective groupthink.
Now, what do you mean?
That is another issue.
Explain what the black KKK collective groupthink you think. Explain what that means.
So the black KKK collective groupthink are the anti-white, anti-American, the Black Lives Matters of the world right now, of the day, of the United States. The people, the liberals, the extreme liberals, the resentment, the hatred, anger, always bringing up Emmett Till, Dr. Umars of the world. These are the black KKK collective groupthink. Everything is racist. while they raise money and never have laid a brick to open a school that they claim they're going to open. That's the black KKK collective group thing.
Right.
LeBron James, and his LeBron Queen and his peanut head ass is the black KK collective group thing.
Yeah. If there's anybody in the fucking world, one of the fixes to all of this is a quick Google search. One of the things I love talking about, because a lot of white liberals don't know enough black people to understand that sometimes they can be wildly fucking selfish, just like white people. And sometimes they deserve. I haven't been to prison like Craig Long has, but I've visited many prisons many times. And every single prisoner that I've come in contact with, whether they were white, Mexican, black, doesn't matter, they were guilty. Life is not Shawshank Redemption. Okay.
Right.
But the other thing is that I think the reason why the black liberals or the Black Lives Matter blacks, why they like it. Have you ever noticed a white liberal is always either a woman or is not the most masculine person?
Yes, you hit it on the nail. He's a beta male.
Right. Have you ever noticed even with the black men, they're always a black woman, and I won't even say the masculinity is slipping, but black guys who get laid are not liberals. Black guys who get laid, not that they're not liberals.
You're Kevin Samuels of the world.
Kevin Samuels, who's that?
Oh man, I just put you on to somebody that just tells it how it is, man.
So I always say, like, if you go to more than 3 marches in a year, if you're a woman who's gone to more than 3 marches in a year, you haven't scored it in at least 6 months. This show is very different than the shows you've been on. Let's just be fucking real, okay?
Man, get me up to speed, man.
And I think what drives the fucking train, what drives the train is fear. What drives the train is fear. And I don't think we on the non-liberal side talk enough about the psychology of these people. Too often, we let ourselves be put on our heels to say, I'm not racist, but Black Lives Matter is burning down the fucking country. I'm not racist, but, and I've talked about it many times. I am sick of saying, I'm not racist, but if you can't understand the context of a joke, if you can't understand the context of a long form conversation where I can say certain words and have love in my heart, but say certain words, if you can't understand, let's pick apart an idea without just saying that the topic of the idea, just the fact that I'm 45% white means I can't talk about certain things. You're the bad person, not us. Not us. I'm tired of going, but I'm not a bad person. No, they're the morally repugnant people, not us.
Yeah, dude, these are the people that say they want equality. They want to destroy racism and eradicate the system. They're the ones that perpetuate it the most. They perpetuate most of the hate, the racist, the bigotry, the violence, the assaults on innocent people, the domestic violence across this country, the terrorism, the tyranny. Right. It's the people on the left. It's the liberals. They're the ones that exercise the cancel culture the most.
Right.
They cancel culture anybody that goes against what they say. Right. You can't say shit about the LGBTQ. What's the last letter on there? P.
There is no end.
The LGBTQ. They're like, what the hell is this?
Adding
pedophiles. The LGBTQ to P.
Yeah.
You have to cut that one. He's like, oh man.
Do you want me to? I will if you want me.
No, I'm messing with you.
Oh, okay. No,
but it's fact. It's true. If
Yeah.
you go against that, if you go against, oh wait, we don't want Tyrannosaurus Rexes racing with our little girls and teenage girls and women. That sport should be for them. What happened to the pro-women movement? What happened to the feminist movement? You know what I'm saying? Well, wait a minute. You guys are talking about women, power to the women, pro-women, feminist movement. But then you let dudes that are mentally confused, dressing up in high heels and dresses,
right,
come in and swoop in. Now they're competing against women. Right. So it's like, there's so many contradictions going on in our country. My body, my choice. My body, my choice. But then when it comes to the mask, put your fucking mask on. Well, my body, my choice, motherfucker. I don't want to put that stupid ass mask on. So it's a lot of contradiction. It's a lot of bullshit going on in our country, man.
Right.
I can't keep up with it.
No.
So
and that's why I kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm in a mode these last like couple months where I've talked about it a couple of times, like as far as the thing you just said, the keeping up with it. There comes a certain point where constantly talking about cancel culture, it doesn't serve us. I don't think it serves
at
me.
all.
It makes me just on a personal, sorry to get hippie with it, all you conservatives who are listening to this right now, but on a personal self-care fucking angle, I can't afford to dunk my head in news and cancer culture news and who said what and who's getting in trouble now and what Biden did. Hello, what Biden did every fucking day. I can't dunk my head in. I have to step back at certain points and intentionally take breaks, intentionally go, you know what?
Oh, dude, I do it. I take intentional breaks.
Right.
People are like, man, where you been? I stepped away. My mental health is important.
Right.
These people are going to drive me insane. You'll
Right.
get it. Like, we all know social media, watching TV, social media, the news, it gives you anxiety. So you do have to take a step back.
Right.
100%. So I agree with you.
Right.
You do. Sometimes you got to take a step back, but don't take a step back as if I'm just going to unplug myself. I'm not really into politics like that. And I'm just going to go to my day-to-day life. No. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. To where just because you're white, you're a white supremacist now, or you're a racist just because you're white. Or, oh, no, you can't say amen no more after your prayers. You need to say amen and a woman. Or it's this. So you can't just turn a blind eye and just act like it doesn't exist and our country is not in trouble either. But you do have to take breaks. 100% take breaks and spend time with your family, do something different. You know, you can't be dived into it, maybe not as much as we are. We're probably a little more dived into it than the average person, but, you know, don't turn a blind eye either to what's going on in the country either.
Right. What was the
Before you know it, they were like, hey, you need to go get your COVID-19 test. This time we're shoving it up your ass.
Right.
And you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, you've unplugged a little bit too long. They're knocking at your door and they're taking your guns away and all kinds of stuff. So, you know.
And even on a more accessible level, because maybe some liberals who are listening right now are like, oh, they would never. On a more accessible level for those people, I have a lot of friends and a lot of amazing people in my life who want to see me succeed in music and podcasting and doing what I do.
Mm-hmm.
They keep voting Biden. I have a lot of people who want to see me. We're like, why doesn't Pete have more blah, blah, blah? But my account, just like your account, anybody who's non-liberal gets shadow banned, gets covered over, gets canceled. Anybody, and so all the people who are doing their regular HR job and their regular whatever don't speak up and don't make tangible decisions to help, and yet they wonder why they have the same outcomes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, why doesn't Craig have a larger follow base? Why are people that whatever? I mean, you have a fucking giant one, but you know, why doesn't they're like, oh, cancel culture is crazy. Oh, I'll still vote Biden. Oh, I mean, California's crazy. I have to move to Austin, and then I'll still vote Democrat. Hello, guys. Please connect the mental dots.
I agree.
Yeah. What was the transition like out of prison?
Oh,
let's talk specifically about like employment.
So I had a mindset, and this is, I think, what's wrong with the country. People have lost the winning mindset, the lion, right? It's easy to say, I'm an alpha, and then you beta male as hell. But you got to have this courage, man, that you're not going to let nothing stop you, right? I always had this mindset, it's better to create a job than to go find one. So I've tried. I remember my first interview, man. I was just too institutionalized. It was too soon. I just came home from prison. I wasn't even 20 days out. I had my first interview with Target, right? It was a phone interview and it was going great. I had plenty of time to practice on how I'm going to answer the question when they ask, hey, you put yes, you have felonies, but you will explain, right? That's what I used to put. Back then it was still the paper, and now it's computer, right? So it's, so I was on the interview with her, and the lady's like, everything was great. And she said, so yeah, I see you have felonies, but you will explain. Can you tell me a little bit about it? And I was very simple with it. Like, look, I made mistakes when I was younger. I was 18. This is a scenario, a situation broke out, an altercation where I got myself into trouble. I had a malicious wounding, blah, 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 blah. I don't go into too much detail. It's kind of vague, but you're not trying to avoid the question either, right? So I explained it, and she just kept prying away. Well, tell me what happened. I said, what part would you like to know? And she said, what was the altercation? I said, well, we just got into a fight, a disagreement, I guess. Well, so what happened? She just kept prying and prying and prying. And at the time, I'm going to share with you, Peter, you're going to be like, holy shit. I just snapped and said, I shot 2 people. She said, okay, the interview's over, and hung up. Right. So I learned through trial and error that, I can't do this no more. I got to figure something out. So I would take little odd jobs and just, eventually do my thing. But I ended up getting a job at Big Lots. Got into a front end collision, almost killed me. Put myself through a trade school, right, in fitness to be a trainer. I put myself through trade school. So I was going to a trade school and then working at Big Lots. And then I met somebody that I could do security on the weekends. I did security on the weekends. And then I met somebody that owned, through Big Lots, I met somebody that owned these little sweepstake places and needed me to do, I was big, needed me to do security. So I was going to school during the day, come back, work until about 9 o'clock at night, then go do security at 10 for this sweepstake till 2 in the morning. I've had very little sleep. And on the weekends, I was doing security for like nightclubs and stuff, right? And I was selling bootleg DVDs. I mean, you name it, dude. I didn't get much sleep. I just worked my ass off. And I knew that everything that I'm doing is temporary until I finished school. Then I had the skill to be able to go into the trade that I wanted to go to, which was fitness. And I started applying for jobs in fitness. So there was people that I graduated from the trade school with that had already graduated before me. They got jobs at different gyms, and one of them became a manager, and they said, hey, come work over here with me, man. We need more trainers. And I'm like, well, I got a background. I lied on the application. They hired me. I did great. They finally flagged it 6 months later. I was one of their top performers, top salesmen in personal training. They just kind of slapped it in, hey, look, you could get in some serious trouble for that. Next time, don't do that again. I really believe that my performance and everything else that I did, they overlooked it. So I just kept overcoming challenges and finding ways. Some of it I wouldn't suggest, like lying on the application and selling bootleg DVDs and things like that. But I never stopped. I just kept overcoming challenges. Now, most people, when I say I was homeless, they're like, well, how the hell were you homeless? Well, when you're a felon, it's hard to get a job, right? It's hard to get a job. We know that. It's hard to also get an apartment. You can't get an apartment. I can't come straight out of prison and go buy a house, right? I got no work history, got no credit bill. So I can't just go buy a house, right? So it was hard to find somewhere to live. So I found myself homeless, right? So over time, I purchased a car. Then I was sleeping in the car. I met great people from the gym, met a friend, let me stay on his couch. I was going couch to couch. Long story short, I just kept overcoming. You meet great people along your path. Nothing, when I literally tell you nothing stops me, nothing stops me, you, or anybody else. It doesn't matter what color you are, if you're a male or female, you're tall, short, skinny, or fat. Nothing stops you from what you want to do, right? You just have to keep, and sometimes it's something you might want to do and you might have to laterally move, right? Let's say, oh, I want to play in the NBA. But what's the likelihood of you playing in it? But maybe your pursuit to trying to getting into the NBA, maybe you're an NBA commentator, right? So there's lateral moves, but you're still in the same area of where you want to be. And I think people have lost how to win. And so for me, like I told you, Peter, I just kept overcoming things, man, overcoming. and just never stopped, to the point now, you know, I remember there was a time where I barely made $10,000 in a year being a personal trainer. My first year being a personal trainer, I barely made $10,000, and that was 1099. Barely made 10,000. So, but some people get defeated and they say, well, damn, this trade doesn't pay, but that's how much you get paid now, because that's where you are on the ladder of capitalism. You have to keep learning more skills, crafting it, and building and adding value to the marketplace to eventually, one day I looked up, Peter, and here I am now. I own a gym. I own a gym here in Florida. Been open, I'm on my 4th year, going on the 5th year. So I've been in business for quite some time now with the gym. I have staff. Now I teach and train the staff how to sell and be better trainers and have better culture in the gym. I'm in a leadership position, right? In the same racist ass country with the white supremacist dust floating around, and black and brown people can breathe in. And that's why we have bad behavior and why we fail and we can't do nothing, because white folks and this white racist ass system's holding us down. It's all bullshit.
And some people,
everything I just shared with you, it's a blueprint. It's overcome your challenges, keep learning skills, have confidence, never give up, keep going. In America, there's so many opportunities, man.
and not
There's
only
just so many.
right, and not only is it a blueprint, but there's also spiritual benefit, mental, emotional, whatever you want to call it, to slogging away. There's emotional, mental, spiritual benefit to being on the bottom rung and slowly climbing the ladder through hard work and watching other people fall down because they jumped off. They were tired of I don't see the end of the ladder, so fuck it, I'm gonna jump. Some people, because they just didn't want, they didn't even start climbing. And yet,
dude, I've failed at many things.
Right. And yet people want to
before I got to where I am now, I failed at a lot of other businesses. I failed at a lot of different things I've tried. And even if the business I have today fails, I'll pick back up and keep going. And you said it perfectly, Peter. You said, I seen people fall off the ladder. They either gave up or they thought it was the end of the road. Mm-hmm. The fact you hold on, you keep going. I've clawed, you see the blood on my knuckles? I've clawed my way to where I am, and I'm going to continue to the nubs, to their bones. I will claw my way. Like Will Smith said, if we were on a treadmill, I'm literally going to die on the treadmill. I'm not getting off the treadmill. I will die on the treadmill. You're going to get off before me. And until people can reach that level of intense pursuit of not giving up, in America, I can't speak for any other country, but in America, the American dream is real, man. You're looking at it. This is somebody that comes from literally nothing, served time, came home. If you would have asked me if I seen myself doing the things that I'm doing today, I could not make the mental leap, man. You said you're just in the studio recording a song? Just last night, before I got on the live, before my microphone that was a piece of shit, I was in the studio recording. I'm 36, about to turn 37. Mira, I'm 37, right? Yeah, I'm about to turn, I forgot my age. I'm about to turn 37. But at 36,
black people aren't
the whole entire song. You know what I mean? So it's like, I remember when I was young, I was like, man, I'd love to make a song and I'd like to write a book. And these are things that I'm doing. So not to get long-winded, Peter, I'm gonna drop an analogy on you, and I think people will really appreciate this. This is metaphoric, right? I have to be careful because there's a lot of men out there that think that they have ovaries and they can have jelly babies because of their mental illness. They want to continue to play house. But metaphorically, men can conceive, right? We conceive like women. Women physically conceive and can give birth to life, right? And they go through a travailing process, a very painful process to just give birth to the new life, the new child, right? Men do the same thing. We conceive through our thoughts, our ambitions, our desires, our what's the word? We'll keep it simple. We conceive through our ambitions, right? Our thoughts, the things that we want to come into fruition. And once we conceive it, once we know what we want to do, we have the plan, it's the desire, it's what we envision, our visions, right? That's when the travailing process works, right? All right, this is what I want to do. Peter wants to make music and get his podcast off the ground. You've conceived now your vision of what you want to do in your life. There's a travailing process. There's a painful process to give birth of the full fruition, the full potential of what you're trying to do in your life. There's ups and downs and challenges that you're going to have to overcome. Oh, shoot, man. I was on live with Craig. I know that if the lighting is not right, it doesn't help with the show because the person's dim. You can barely see them. His microphone sucks. Shit. That's things that you have to overcome to grow the podcast. Music. You got to keep fine tuning and getting better at what you. So there's different things you're going to be faced with before you actually give birth to what you originally thought and envisioned in your life. And now it's up to you to bring it into fruition. And through that process is very painful. There's ups and downs. There's people that turn their back on you. They talk down on you. They close doors on you. They say that it's not possible. You can't do it. And it seems that you're very stranded and you're alone and by yourself, that it's not going to be possible to get there. And it's like, man, my age, maybe I waited too long. Maybe it's too late in the game, but it's not. It's just not. I tell people all the time, man, life and business are like the changing seasons, man. You're going to go through winter, spring, summers, and falls. And once people understand that, man, the world is yours, man. You can create heaven and hell right here. So
now, for both Black people and white people, anybody, every human being,
anybody in this country,
right? Anybody alive understands the desire to break the ladder. Let's go to that analogy that you said earlier regarding the ladder. It's every fucking rung, and sometimes it's like, oh, I almost fall off, and it's almost because I just say screw it, it's almost. But if you keep climbing, you go, and some people are jealous and scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in our nature to be like, I don't even know if there's an end to the ladder. Everybody else is on the ladder. It's in our nature to just say, let's break the ladder, and that's what socialists are. Let's break the ladder because everybody else is skinnier and nicer. And I could better myself in a myriad of ways, but I just don't want to. So I'm going to tear down the ladder. Now, you obviously have something in you that made you, like you said, tenacious. Where did it come from?
Oh, that's good. I believe we hear it all the time, right? I believe your upbringing is very important. Like I truly believe that your guardians or your parents can play a major influence in how they instill values and principles in your life, right? They can instill confidence in you, right? But when we're young, we tend to be hard-headed and we don't want to listen, right? We think we know it all, right? So you just like anything else, you got to speak life into people's lives, right? Life and death is in your tongue, right? I believe my family had tough love, man. They were very tough on me. They were so tough on me, I left home at the age of 16. And most kids now are not built like that. They can't leave home. If they left home, they would get swallowed up by the world, right? So I'm just built different. I think my family instilled. Let me go back because I don't want people to get it twisted thinking that my parents were the reason why I have the successes that I have now. They're not. I've done and I am doing things currently that my family has never done before in their life. My mother and father didn't teach me how to be successful, but there was little things that they say and do to encourage you along the way. Like when you first don't succeed, try again, things like that. Small things that your mom could say to you that can really encourage you to keep going. So I think that the foundation of a kid is important as well. But some people don't have that. Does that mean that they can't be successful and they can't climb? Hell no, because there's many other people in America, in the world, that did not have any parents anybody, and they have major success. So what it boils down to is you wanting more, you wanting to get better, period. So yes, and the one part I'm saying your foundation plays major on how you were brought up, but on the other hand, it doesn't really matter. It's in you. Everybody has a God-given right. God instilled it in all of us. If you have all your mental capabilities and you're able to make decisions, you have a God instilled in all of us the ability to make a decision. You got a decision to either do it or not do it at all, right? There's the trying is failing, right? You're either going to do it or you're not. Just do it. So it doesn't matter where you are and where you come from, what your foundation is, you got to find it in you to want more. And sometimes the way that happens is something tragic happens to you and it pisses you off. You're mad or you got hatred towards you. I never want this to happen again, right? Or maybe someone passed away or something sad, or you've seen somebody else doing it and inspired you so much, or you know what I mean? So it can happen. So many. Basically, people have to find themselves from within.
Right.
And I really believe that they have to find it in themselves and understand that they have to learn new skill and want to get better, be ready, willing, and able. They got to want to get better, learn the skill, craft the skill, mold it, get better, and then add value and bring it to the marketplace.
And I agree with you. Because some people, you know, whether it be parents or one parent or, you know, a certain teacher that was super influential, either way, sometimes that's a huge factor, but it's not the only factor, because there's a lot of people who have really good lives who do nothing with it. So I think it's the desire. And I also would add to it that it's individual small decisions. Because with me, I want to be, you know, I just started boxing classes and I have had huge, you know, weight fluctuations over my life. But like, even now, like I just started boxing classes maybe like 2 weeks ago, and already a huge undertaking has happened. But in the back of my head, I just want to be svelte without doing the workout. I want to be, you know, muscular, and I want to be able to knock motherfuckers out without taking the first 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 over and over without eating vegetables. I don't want to do the work. So it starts with small incremental decisions of fine, I'll eat a little bit less here, or I'll drink a little more water, or I'll go to bed a little bit different, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. Small decisions as well.
I like that you brought that up. I think that if you just block out, like with the end goal, like it's just something I did in prison. I know it's going to sound weird. In prison, I had so much time ahead of me, right? I was like, man, I've been locked up for a whole year. I still got 5 more years to go. And over time, I just forgot about it, and I accepted. I accepted that this is where I am. I need to create a routine. This is what my life is going to be. And the next thing you know, I looked up, I'm getting ready to be released. So I used that example with your boxing. You starting a new fitness program, right? You just kind of block it out like, you know what? If I stop doing this, if I don't do that, I will be doing this. And these are the things that make me depressed or make me not feel a certain way, or I don't like, or you revert back to why you even started, right? So if you just accept, like, you know what, I'm just going to make this a part of my day and routine. And so I'm just going to follow the plan with no resistance to it. I'm going to fully submit myself to what I'm doing. And it's funny, you just started boxing. I started Jiu Jitsu. Like, I own a kickboxing gym. I started Jiu Jitsu. I'm completely humbled. I got dudes that are 140 pounds rolling around on me like little monkeys, choking me out. Right. And it's like, just like you said, you're just doing the regular 1, 2, 1, 2. And you're like, man, I want to get into the good stuff. I want to duck. I want to spar. I want to knock somebody out. But it's like, you know what? I'm just going to accept where I am in the process and just enjoy this process. Fully submit myself to this program or whatever it is I'm doing, and just keep consistent. And I think if people can learn to do that with everything that they do in life, not so much focus on, man, I want to be, because I was like that too, like, man, how many times we're going to go over this same move in jiu-jitsu, but I have to remember, let me embrace where I am. This is the foundation to build me. Then eventually I'm gonna be rolling around people, walking around their body in the air, putting them in chokeholds and stuff, right? So it's, you know, I commend you for that though, Peter, because boxing ain't no joke, man. It's a hell of a workout.
Yeah. It's already been 2 weeks. I can feel a fundamental change in my body. It's badass. I cannot wait to knock a motherfucker out.
Do you feel like it helps you with stress?
Maybe. Here's another thing. There can, in the incremental changes, just for this is, you know, this is an organic conversation. This is going to go wherever it's going to go. But in the incremental changes, there's actually, it's not just, this is going to suck forever. You know what I mean? Like small bullshit, whatever. There's also lots of little successes. And I think sometimes you need like the whip to just keep fucking running, keep moving, keep climbing the ladder. And sometimes you need to be like, oh shit, I just grabbed another rung. Oh shit, I just grabbed the ladder. Oh man, I was over there. I didn't win. Exactly. I didn't run over the weekend. And I was just honestly busy. I could have gotten up earlier there. So
you know what? It's funny you're saying that, because I looked at some of your old shows.
Yeah.
And you were a little more.
Yeah.
You're losing weight, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I've gone up and down, but yeah, it's not that bad, but I can already on a huge basis. Thank you very much.
No, dude, you were puffy on some of your videos, man.
Yes, sir. I was. Yes, sir.
You definitely were puffy on some of your videos, man. But I'm trying to lose weight too. It gets harder when you get older, right? I'm into fitness, so I understand.
Right.
I want a cheeseburger, fuck, and some French fries. Right. So I got, you have to have discipline.
And not just discipline. You know, when I went and went in today, and the trainer was like, we did already like 45 minutes, an hour, and then he's like, "You didn't run over the weekend, didn't you?" I'm like, "I did some muscle work." He's like, "Go twice around the building." I'm like, "What? I already did one earlier, and I thought I was gonna die."
He should have said, "Don't be a liberal."
Right. You'd be like, "Oh, twice around the building." So I went twice around the building. And I was like, okay, I did that. I went back down. I almost died, blah, blah, blah. I come back down. He's like, "Are you still out of breath? Go twice around the building." I'm like, he gave somebody a partner. And I was like, you know what? As far as the success, as far as giving myself credit, as far as being gentle with myself, whatever the fuck you want to call it, at the end of those 4 laps, I was like, I just did that. And throughout that running, I was like, I can do this. And surprise, Pete, I did. Even though in my back of my head, not only was I was like, I'm going to die. This is bullshit. I should just walk. It's fine. I'm already doing so good. I don't need to, all the litany of excuses. I pushed through it, and damn it, I did it. And even with that small success, even though I'm not, Craig Long fucking fit or whatever, I still am proud of myself. I still was like, I achieved something. And you know what? On that run, as far as the progress thing, it makes me believe that I can get even higher. It makes me believe that I can do even stronger. Next time I'll do 4.5 or 5 or whatever. I can do it. But unless you start with one lap, unless you start with one movement towards it, unless you start with one email, unless you start with whatever, you're never going to get there.
You got to just do it. Like it's like when I opened my gym, the guy, I was looking at a franchise. The gym I own is a franchise. I'm a franchisee. The guy, originally the business I wanted to go into, he said, "Man, you only need 60 to 70,000. And I was like, man, that's a striking distance, right? He got it. So I went to, they had an event to talk more about the franchise and what they do to help the franchisees and how the business is growing, how it's doing overall in the United States. And then they're moving out into different countries, yada, 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 right? I went to the events, I met other owners, and I was just, oh man, this is something I want to do. This is what I always wanted to do. 60 to 70,000. So I'm like, man, how am I going to get the money? Right. So he's like, oh, I said, so it's going to take me a whole year. He said, no, it's not. One thing led to another. He got in contact with another guy to help me understand how I could raise the money. I get the money. I actually got 100 grand. 100 grand, right, to finance to get the money to open a business. But that company said they couldn't do business with me because I had a background, I had felonies. So I was left in the dirt. Now I raised this money that I have to use, or I ain't gonna never have another opportunity. So I had to pivot into something else that I always did anyway, was boxing, kickboxing. So I pivoted into that, and they said, well, you need about 120. So I'm like, fuck. So it's just, you know what I mean? You're like, oh shit. At first it was 60 to 70, now it's 120. Dude, when I tell you, sometimes you just gotta have faith, and sometimes things just happen. I literally went into it anyway, not even having enough money. Almost bankrupt, dude. I had $100 in the bank account. I got delayed through the build out process of getting, you got to go through the city and get all the permits and things like that. Well, in Florida, you got to go through the Department of Agriculture. And if they don't approve your contracts that you're going to be having people sign for the gym and blah, 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 you got to wait 30 days. So that's what happened. I didn't know I had to go through that process. I'm new to this. Never ran a brick and mortar business in my life, right? I'm black. I'm high. You know, anything you could come up with, the bullshit excuses people can say.
Right.
So they said, well, you got to wait a whole month until you can open. But I'm like, I literally only have $100 left in the bank account. I opened my business anyway, man. Without the permits, anything, being with the inspections, nothing. I opened it, boom, life, it started going. Everything got approved. Then the inspection people come in and they're like, hey, you didn't get any of this inspected. I said, how? But I got my certificate of occupancy already. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you're putting one foot in front of the other and you're still climbing, you might don't even see somewhere to grab, and then something appears for you to grab. It's just amazing, man. It's a wonderful process. It's literally, Peter, what we're talking about right now is called pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That's what it's called. This talk that we're having right now is called pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. Me and you, and there's many others that are currently doing it. They've already done it, and they'll continue to do it. They've done it in the past. For our forefathers have done it in the past. It's called pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, right? Having a winner mentality. And if you have a mentality that something holds you back, then you're right. Something does hold you back. You know what I mean? You're holding yourself back. But if you have a mentality that, you know what, I'm going to be like an ant. Have you ever seen an ant? They're like,
Right.
You put something in there, you put something in front of them, they're either going to go over it, around it, under it. They're going to keep going towards what they're trying to do. So great conversation on success and working hard and pulling yourself up out of bootstraps.
Right? I'm amazing. I'm the best fucking show in the goddamn world. Everybody, you better be subscribing. Again, I will slap you.
Right. This is great information, man.
Since we've been so positive for a little bit, let's transition in for the last leg of the show. Let's
do some triggering.
Let's talk shit about Shaun King.
Oh, dude, I can't fucking stand Shaun King. He's a race baiter, man.
Yeah, he is. And the motherfucker's a halvesy. Okay. Now, I'm a halvesy. Okay. So I you know, whatever. But
I'm a halvesy, man.
Oh, you are? Oh my God.
My mom, did you see the post I put on Instagram? My mom is same color as you.
Really? Wait a second.
Yeah,
I'm Puerto Rican. Is she Puerto Rican? I'm a half Puerto Rican.
So my mom was a foster child.
Okay.
She found her real parents, her real biological parents. Her mother, she died now, she was white as white. I'm talking about in the middle of country ass on a farm with cows, white as hell, probably listens to Blake Shelton every day, God's country. And then the dad is black as hell. Black as hell, straight from Nigeria, probably. Just black, you know, just a regular black person. So my mother is mixed. We have these, man.
Right. Now, Shaun King, the thing that I despise, not just because a lot of people, I think on the non-liberal side are too.
He's a race baiter. He's a
He
grifter.
is, but too often people don't think about why. Again, with the psychology thing, too many conservatives go, "Oh, he's not a patriot," or "He's an asshole," or "He's stupid." Like those things may be true, but that's not the way we get people like people who look up to him to stop looking up to him, because they're just going to file that away. Oh, that's just a that's just a because it's a myopic viewpoint. Psychologically, even if we go by Shaun King's definition of what he is, he's half white. So let's number one. Number two, even from his definition, he suffered a strong, like a super bad assault from rednecks back when he was in high school. He was a scrawny kid, and rednecks beat him up because he was scrawny and because he was half white and half black. He looked weird, and obviously rednecks or whatever. Sorry, rednecks, but sometimes, especially back in the 80s, you could be a little fucking much. Now, so that happened, and that's why he's obsessed with race, because he hasn't gotten over, he hasn't healed, he hasn't done whatever he needed to do to not be still butthurt about that horrible assault that he went through. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there are people, like you've gone through some shit, I've gone through some shit. There are people who I know who a couple of people who have been even I had one of the regulars of this show. Her name's The Good Girl. She's an anonymous pervert. And we've talked about like deep stuff, not just sex and horrible, whatever. Go look at that show, everybody, if you want the pervert in it. But also we've talked about the assault.
She's an anonymous what? An anonymous. You said she's a what pervert?
Anonymous.
She's an anonymous. What is that?
Anonymous. Anonymous means she stays anonymous. She doesn't.
No, I get that part. But why is she a pervert?
Because we like talking about sex. Here's the thing: people can, especially women, they don't want to talk about sex on my podcast most of the time, unless they're, people don't know who they are. Once people don't know who they are, they're a little more open.
Oh, they'll come out and say what they want.
Yeah, and
is she liberal?
Yes, but she listens to my show every time. So you can't be.
You're red pilling her every day. Good.
I fucking hope so. But hi, good girl. But she's been on my show. We've talked about the assaults that she suffered. Her stepfather molested her when she was a kid and beat her, and she went through horrible shit, right? And because of the work she did, she got sober, she changed her life, she did the whatever, she did the work. It's not hanging over her head every day. It's not hanging over her head every day. So the assault isn't what makes us. Do you understand what I'm trying to piece apart here? The assault, the horrible stuff that we go through is not what makes us. It's not what defines us. But Shaun King, it's what defines him. For the rest of his life, he's on a subconscious, not even conscious, he's on a subconscious mission to ruin rednecks, to ruin anything that white people, because some evil white people did some horrible shit to him in high school. That's psychologically, that's exactly.
I mean, he's definitely a race baiter.
Yeah,
it's definitely some psychological issues, man. It's like even with the black KKK collective group thing. Like, I've experienced racism, but I don't sit here and think that all white folks are racist, right? And then it kills me when they say, "Oh, how would your mom feel about this?" It's like, well, my mom is mixed with white. I mean, what, you know what I mean? So it drives me insane that they do that. But Shaun King is just, I don't know if he talked with Al Sharpton, and he's got the blueprint on how to grift off of black and brown people's pain so he can line his pockets. Right. But he's a major grifter, man. He's a major race baiter. He is anti-American and anti-white. He is racist as fuck, man.
I don't know how people like that sleep at night. And that's why I go to that assault thing, because that's the only way you can, besides, a bunch of, sleepy time tea and psych meds or whatever he needs to do.
He needs to do something.
But I don't know how you could, because we've all gone through stuff, and don't get me wrong, I understand on a fundamental level, living in fear, living in vengeance, living in anger. I get that. But at a certain point, you have to pull your head out of your ass. The motherfucker is in his 30s, maybe even a beginning of 40s, and yet he still hasn't pulled his head out of his ass. He still has the gall to say some of the horrendous shit he does. Because at a certain point, not only did he come into the race baiting business, like you're saying, he came into that because I hate rednecks. But then people will pay you to say I hate rednecks. People will pay you to say that black people are, people will pay you to say white people are the devil. And now that begets more, begets more, begets more. It's never going to end for him. That's a sad.
Well, dude, that's his life. He's a professional grifter.
Right.
He is, man. He's a professional jackass. Him, 50 Cent, Snoop, all of them.
Right.
I follow these celebrities not because I like their shit. I want to see the bullshit that they put out just so that I can destroy it.
Right. What do you think?
There's one that I'm gonna make, a content I'm gonna make, where they said, oh, look what white folks do. They put on a black mask and robbed a bank. Look what white folks do. They were inboxing me. I get these bastards inbox me every day. Oh, look what their white folks was doing. They put this latex mask on, was robbing banks with the. Then today, Gateway Pundit puts out a black dude with the white mask on, going around committing 30-something odd burglaries. And it's like, man, I need to do the opposite of what Shaun King is doing in destroying this narrative that all white folks is just evil and racist. No, look at these crazy ass black KKK collective group thing. Here's to destroy the bullshit that you're saying, that look what white folks do. They dress up in black masks just so that people can go around looking for a black man. Look what black folks do. They do the same shit. Evil is evil. Right. Wrong is wrong. Right. It's not, it's just black and white shit you guys want to keep pushing in this country. This right. Anti-American and dividing us through race, through colors of our skin, right? What was the purpose of civil rights? Right. Was to stop compartmentalizing people and putting them in groups based off their color, but to judge them off the content of their character. So if we just judge these individuals that put latex masks on, it's not a white or black thing. Because obviously a white guy put a black mask on and a black guy put a white mask on. Evil is evil and wrong is wrong. It's not a racial thing. Right. These are jackasses that broke the law.
I even say that when it comes to people trying to get the white. I mean, I even when people are wanting to say, like Judah Hill or Jonah Hill or whatever a few years ago got in trouble because he said the F word to a paparazzi. Paparazzi who was, up in his face and following him around and asking him horrendous questions, whatever. He called the guy a faggot. And what happened was Jonah Hill apparently got in trouble because you're not supposed to say that. It's like, he doesn't hate gay people. He wanted to hurt the guy's feelings. If I'm in a fight with somebody, even if I'm wrong or they're wrong, I'm not going to call them a jerk. I'm not going to call them a dumb head.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the jugular. That doesn't mean I'm racist. That doesn't mean I'm hate gay. That means I'm trying to hurt this guy's feelings. It's not the most important thing to do, but it is what it is. But I believe everybody understands that, and we'll wrap up with this. I think the people who see you, the people who are swept away in the Black Lives Matter, whatever, when they see you and they see the destruction, hopefully, of this narrative, they understand it in their belly too. They may not be looking, they may be like la 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 la, but they understand it in their belly. Context is universal. Context is animal. Same thing I say when it comes to fucking, people say, I would never laugh at a rape joke. I would never laugh at a rape joke. They go into a comedy club, everybody's laughing, they're riding the energy, and then a rape joke comes and they're laughing. And then they leave. And as soon as someone asks them, excuse me, ma'am, would you ever laugh at a rape joke? Oh, no, I would never. We understand context. We fucking get it. I trust my audience to understand what I mean when I say the horrible things and explain, say the jokes or whatever. I trust people. I think it's universal, right? So hopefully if we keep pushing the envelope and we keep saying, no, I'm not going to keep defending myself and saying I'm not racist. You're the morally repugnant one. I'm not going to shut up. You're not going to intimidate me. And most of let's be fucking real too. A lot of these goddamn liberals weigh like 5 fucking pounds. If they're dudes, they weigh 5 pounds. And if they're women, they weigh 400. Who are you going to beat up? Sorry. Anyway.
Sorry about that.
No. I'm glad that happened because I was going off on a rant about.
No, you're all right, man.
Yeah.
No, man. Hey, look, I appreciate you bringing me on, man.
I appreciate it too, man.
We'll do it again. Get about 4 or 5 people on here.
Yeah, I'm already, I'm in the process of, I'm trying to find a black liberal so I could have black versus black so that no one could go, where's the racism? I want, that to happen. So maybe I'll set that up. I'm sure you've debated other black liberals before.
Dude, it's like talking to a wall. Like Black Lives Matter. When we look into the statistics,
right,
how many unarmed people were killed, who were violent and not violent, how many were killed last year, period, from the police, compared to the homicide. It's like, why is this overly sensationalized as this is this major epidemic issue? It's not even the top 50. Right. So it's like, dude, we could go on and on. That's a whole nother show, man. But I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Real Craig Long 45. If you're on TikTok, it's Craig Long 45. Facebook, Craig Long 45. Clapper, Craig Long 45. Gab, Craig Long 45. I don't care what the social media platform is. It's Craig Long 45. That's where you can find me.
Fantastic. Everybody go follow him, and make sure you follow me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano. You can support my podcast and music at patreon.com/conservatish. Make sure you subscribe, share, like this video, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much again, Craig. Appreciate you.
Most definitely, man. Take care, man.
All right. Take care.